Vigilante Williamson here with a clip from my show.
Something I have not talked about and have been wanting to talk quite a bit about. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan responds to talk of Spotify censoring his podcast. Popular podcaster Joe Rogan and his relationship with the streaming platform Spotify have made headlines in recent weeks. He addressed some of the controversies during his recent podcast with comedian Tim Dillon. Rogan and Dillon spoke during episode number 1544 of the Joe Rogan Experience about Spotify employees potentially wanting to censor and his podcast. So let me get to this quote, because I want to read his quotes and then give my reaction to them. And I actually saw the video live. I'm not going to play it. Listen to me. Outside of reading these effing articles, which I'm doing now, like, oh my God, Spotify censoring Rogan. Spotify has said nothing. Listen to me. Nothing. They haven't said anything to my manager. They haven't said anything to me. They said nothing. They've apparently had meetings, but they have a lot of meetings. They have meetings about all sorts of shows. They have meetings about the music they have. It's an open-minded company. They treat employees very well. They let them have discussions about things, and I don't know what these discussions are like. I don't know what happens. I really don't. In terms of them silencing me, zero, there's been nothing. And he goes on. I guess one of the controversial episodes is one where Abigail Shire talks about transgenders. And I guess it's controversial, according to them, because they're talking about specific case or specific issues that some people face. And I think it's unfair that they silence issues and they try to, sugarcoat the human experience. No matter what gender, no matter who you are, there are going to be issues. There are going to be, and I think he even says this, there are transgender people who are so much happier after transitioning, and there are some people who do have issues, and I don't think it's a problem to talk about that. In fact, I think you silence those issues, and I've even seen where those people who are having issues after transitioning are kind of shunned and not really feel kind of like outcast. And I don't think that's right if you really care about these people. So I think something like this needs to be discussed. But unfortunately, as we know, and I've talked about it with BLM, we talked about everything we have. These people never really care about the groups they use as shields and they use to control. This isn't really about Abigail Shire's podcast. It's just about controlling Joe Rogan. It isn't really about what she said. It's beautiful fuel for them to use to silence Mr. Rogan. And I'm going to get into his quote after I read all of it, but because I think he's doing a great job of word choice, and I'll explain what I believe is happening. It's just a fat guy's opinion. Who cares? But let me get into the rest of the quote. There's somebody on Spotify complaining about the Abigail Shire episode. I'm sure there's someone complaining about it. Is it a transphobic episode? It's not. They're wrong. I don't know what the actual conversation has been from Spotify talking to these employees, but if these employees are listening, I'm telling you emphatically, I am not in any way anti-trans. Not in any way. I'm 100% for people to be able to do whatever they want as long as it doesn't harm other people. You can do anything, whatever you want, whatever your personal choice is. I'm happy for you if you're happy. He's 100% open-minded. Is there any more quote? And he says things he doesn't even make. He's talking off the top of his head. And that's pretty much it. Another quote about he said hot new hip hop. This is another quote. I'm sure they had issues with other episodes as well. But I said before, I'm talking on top of my head. A lot of times I'm saying stuff I don't even mean because I'm saying it because it's a podcast. And if you have a problem with people saying terrible stuff, you work for Spotify, maybe you should listen to some of your lyrics, okay? Because the lyrics in some of their music, the guys play over and over. It makes my stuff pale, in comparison, pale. Listen to some of the rap music. I'm not anti-rap. I love rap. But I'm saying go back and listen to NWA. Listen to some of the early stuff. Listen to Ice-T, Cop Killer, from Body Count Days. Phew, that's what he said in the podcast. Just listen to WAP. It's being popularized now to the youngest girls. There's sororities, pledging to it. Like, that makes us feel great about the mothers of our future. You know what I'm saying? But this has to be censored. But I think Joe Rogan's doing word choice. Why do I say that? Firstly, let's go back to this quote. Listen to me. They've said nothing. Okay. But apparently they've had meetings. They have a lot of meetings about all sorts of things. But then he mentions this episode specifically. Is there somebody complaining about the Abigail Shire episode? I'm sure there's someone complaining about it. But then he doesn't know about the actual conversations. Now, I get that when he says, I'm sure somebody's complaining about it, it's like an inference, a faux inference in my opinion. Faux inference, I mean. Or I say. I think he's using word choice. He says nobody said anything to him about it. Doesn't mean he hasn't said anything to them about it. Doesn't mean they haven't had internal conversations and he doesn't know about them. He's saying that he wasn't told directly, but these stories aren't coming out of nowhere. And he never says anything about the missing episodes. If they are not silencing you, what's going on with those missing episodes, Joe? Simple question. I know people love Joe. I know people love Jones. People love both of them. And Jones came out and said some crazy stuff that was unfounded about the missing episodes. They're this special top pack, even though they were top episodes of non-controversial creators. By controversial, I mean right wing. All these episodes that weren't there, he never discusses them. So don't tell me they're not talking to you or you have no idea, no information about what's going on in Spotify. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I'm sorry. I think Joe Rogan, my guesstimate is he's trying to publicly give you a everything's okay while he behind the scenes irons things out. And I've said this before and I'm going to say this again. I don't understand how Spotify made this decision to give this man $100 million, yet had individuals whose opinion was important enough to censor it and didn't get the write-off from them. I think it's stupid to pick these employees over Joe Rogan, but if these employees are so empowered that they think they should strike or whatever else, they think they have the right to censor, like Stevie Richards and Ivory back in the day. If these employees have that much power, why didn't you get their information and their opinion and what they believe about Joe Rogan before giving him $100 million? The next question is, did Joe Rogan know he was going to be censored? Were you shocked by the outrage of your employees? And if you were shocked, why does their opinion count? Like, I don't get it. Either their opinion counts to you as, the heads of Spotify, or it doesn't. If their opinion counts so much that you will derail your biggest asset, which you've already done by censoring him already. You've already taken off his other episodes. You've given that air of censorship to his product. So why? Why would you listen to these people if they were so upset and if that mattered to you as the head? Then you shouldn't even make this decision because you knew this was going to happen. And by the way, you're last Jediing Joe Rogan. Because if you censor Joe Rogan, which you already have, and you continue it, he's going to lose his audience, therefore be less valuable to you, and you'll be wasting the $100 million you just paid him, or you're set to pay him throughout the terms of his contract. So I don't understand how they could have come to the decision to hire Joe Rogan under those circumstances, because they clearly have people at the company who don't want him there, who want to censor him. And their opinions, they're clearly high enough for their opinions to count on some level. So either they do or they don't. If you are going to count these people's opinion, you should have got the write-off well beforehand. You shouldn't have even made the decision to get Joe Rogan involved with Spotify if you really felt that you had people at your company that didn't want Rogan. And by the way, he is right about your lyrics. Why are the lyrics on Spotify okay and he's not? WAP is disgusting. And that's something that our future mothers of our children, to quote Big Boy and Jazzy Bell. Just making a bunch of Jazzy Bells. That's all WAP is doing. The WAP rap. But Censor Joe Rogan, who I think he's doing slickness with his word choice. He can, like I said, they haven't talked to me. It doesn't mean I haven't talked to them. And it doesn't mean he has no communication. He's being disingenuous. He knows episodes that are controversial, but he doesn't know what conversations happen. Okay, like whatever. There's something else to it. But he's trying to put on a good face. And I think he's trying to hammer it out. And hopefully he does, because like I said, he will Last Jedi his podcast if it's a censored Joe Rogan. Nobody wants that.